Good evening. The Indiana Fever are addressing speculation surrounding their latest roster decisions, making it clear that their moves should not be interpreted as a signal of Caitlin Clark's return. In recent days, a series of transactions by the Fever has drawn intense attention from fans and commentators alike, many of whom believed the team's adjustments were paving the way for the return of their sidelined star. The Fever, however, are downplaying that notion and insisting their decisions are being made strictly to manage depth and keep the team competitive as they push toward the postseason. The Fever recently signed and then waived Kyra Lambert in a matter of days. Lambert had been brought in under a hardship contract, intended to help fill gaps in a roster plagued by injuries. Almost immediately, however, she was released as the team re-signed veteran guard Odyssey Sims. The timing raised eyebrows because it came as anticipation surrounding Caitlin Clark's recovery reached a new peak. Many observers wondered whether the sudden change was linked to Clark's expected return from a groin injury that has kept her off the court since mid-July. But the Fever front office responded quickly, explaining that the Lambert move was about maintaining roster flexibility and not an indication that Clark was about to rejoin the lineup. Clark, the first overall pick in the 2024 WNBA draft and a central figure in the league's surging popularity, has not played since July 17th after sustaining a right groin injury. While she has traveled with the team and continued rehab, she has not been cleared for full contact or competitive minutes. Her absence has been a major storyline for both the Fever and the league as a whole. Clark's presence has transformed attendance, boosted television ratings, and brought unprecedented attention to the WNBA. For that reason, any roster change involving Indiana inevitably triggers speculation about her status. The Fever, however, are intent on keeping expectations in check, stressing that Clark's health remains the top priority and that she will not return until medical staff confirm she is fully ready. The roster turbulence comes during one of the most challenging stretches of the season for Indiana. The team has been hit hard by injuries to key players. Sophie Cunningham, who is averaging nearly 9 points per game, was recently lost for the remainder of the season after tearing her MCL in a collision during practice. Her season-ending injury followed earlier setbacks for guards Sydney Colson and Ari McDonald, who are also out for the year. These injuries have left the Fever scrambling to plug holes in their rotation, turning frequently to hardship contracts and short-term signings to keep the roster balanced enough to compete. Despite these obstacles, the Fever have demonstrated remarkable resilience. They have leaned heavily on the consistent dominance of Aliyah Boston, who has taken her game to new heights in Clark's absence. Boston has shouldered much of the offensive load, increasing both her scoring and rebounding numbers, while also anchoring the defense. Veteran guard Kelsey has likewise elevated her play, delivering crucial scoring performances that have kept the team competitive in the playoff race. One of the most dramatic moments of the season came just days ago, when the Fever erased a 21-point deficit to defeat the Connecticut Sun in overtime. Mitchell scored a career-high 38 points in that game, while Odyssey Sims provided veteran leadership, proving why the team opted to re-sign her. The comeback victory was hailed as one of the defining moments of the Fever season, underscoring the team's fight even without their most high-profile star. Still, the absence of Clark looms large. Her rookie season was nothing short of historic, and her presence continues to be felt even when she is not on the floor. League officials, broadcasters, and Fever fans are eager for her return, and any shred of news about the roster tends to be dissected for hidden meaning. That is why the Fever felt it necessary to publicly downplay the idea that signing or releasing fringe players had anything to do with Clark. Team representatives reiterated that decisions are being made out of necessity as injuries mount, and that Clark's recovery will remain on its own timeline, independent of temporary roster shuffles. Coach Stephanie White has echoed this sentiment in media availability, praising her team for their resilience while also stressing the importance of caution with Clark's injury. White has made it clear that the Fever's long-term vision for Clark outweighs any short-term gain. With Clark widely viewed as the face of the franchise for years to come, the organization has no intention of rushing her back prematurely. White noted that while Clark's rehab is progressing, there remains no target date for her return, and that the team's focus is on supporting her fully until she is cleared. She emphasized that protecting Clark's health is not just about the season but about her future in the league. For the Fever, the narrative of roster instability has become a season-long reality. They began the year hopeful that Clark's transition from college superstar to professional would power them into playoff contention. And while Clark's early performances were promising, her injury altered that trajectory. The team has since had to rely on grit, adaptability, and contributions from unexpected sources. Sims, signed on hardship, has quickly proven valuable, and role players like Chloe Bibby have stepped into minutes many never expected to see. It has been a patchwork effort, but one that has kept Indiana in the mix. The Fever are not a team coasting on hype. They are fighting nightly to prove they can win even without their centerpiece. Media speculation is unlikely to subside, however. Clark's massive following means every roster decision becomes magnified. When Lambert was cut and Sims brought back, some wondered if the team had inside knowledge that Clark would be cleared soon, thus negating the need for another hardship player. The Fever's insistence that this was not the case is both an attempt to manage expectations and to quell the disappointment that would follow if Clark does not return as soon as fans hope. The team understands the hunger for her comeback, but is seeking to prevent unrealistic narratives from dominating the conversation. Beyond the Fever, Clark's situation speaks to the larger impact she has had on the WNBA. Her absence has shown just how central she has become to the league's marketing and visibility. Attendance figures for Fever road games remain strong, driven by fans eager for a glimpse of her even in street clothes. Broadcasters continue to highlight her recovery, knowing that her return will instantly become one of the most significant sports stories of the year. For the league, her comeback is about more than just basketball. It represents an economic and cultural moment. But for the Fever, the challenge is balancing that broader impact with the immediate reality of protecting a 23-year-old athlete's long-term health.